But I'm gonna turn you off while I build those brackets. It's just me cutting metal. And it's not that cool. Although welding's not that cool either, but whatever. Alright, so we're gonna be doing some welding up on this. We gotta weld the bar in and put some filler metal, put some metal in here and connect it out to where we gotta go here. And then we also gotta connect up the back of our steering brackets here. So I think first thing first, we're gonna take the rack out because for what we're doing, I don't need the rack in. It's just gonna be in our way. Boom, and then boom, comes right out. So that's awesome. That works out. And now we have a clean area to work with. So, first thing first, we need to drag the welder out. Alright, I got the welder out. I'm gonna clamp on there. Bring the torch over to here. Throw some metal across the floor. Alright, so I got these little cutoffs from when we were getting the angle right. So what I'm basically gonna do is I'm gonna cut it in half and get it, fit up to where it fills this gap right here and lets me take this tube all the way down to here, and it'll let me weld this all up solid and we won't have any flex and I don't have to worry about it moving or anything. So that is gonna be, I think, the first thing I'm gonna give a shot to. So we're gonna start with just taking a cut on this. Whew, that gets hot quick. Hot don't touch. All right, so yeah. Gotta take more out of it. And I gotta cut it down some. This is gonna be fun. So I got some little filler pieces cut out. That'll work pretty good for what I'm gonna do here. So I'm going to go ahead and tap them in and then start filling and laying welds. All right, first tag. Boom. Do I like it? Loop. All right. Boom, I dig that. That looks good. So with that being said, filling to do back there. All right, so right now I'm just tacking it up in a couple of places, so when I final weld, it doesn't, or when I go to like really weld, it doesn't want to walk around on me. Now I just need to make my standoffs to get my power steering brackets where I like them, and good. Alright, so what I've done here is I've made little standoffs, which I coped and then cut off. And basically it's going to go right onto the bar there and then go up to our bracket up here, and I'll weld it all in. Obviously this one I'm going to have to take down some, as you can see, because it comes way further back and it'll be into our pan a bit. So I have to do some modding on that one, and I still got to cut the lip off. This one, which I have clamped into place over here, you can see actually fits really well, and it's because I don't have this big bump out right there. So that's where I'm at with that. So we're going to tack that in all real good. We're just going to tack it in down here. I'm not going to tack all this because I got the rubber and everything in the rack. So I'll tack this to the bar here right in a couple of spots, and then I'll come clamp up over here, do the same thing, and then I'll pull it all apart again, and we'll go from there. Originally my thought was to put it on this side, well, a different direction, but basically something along these lines. Well, it was more actually along these lines, but the deal with that was it made getting the bolts out impossible. So we scrapped that idea. Gets us good stability, and if I box the top in and whatnot, we should be fine. Just keep that one from going anywhere. This one needs to do the same thing. Okay, so the standoffs are tacked in. Now I need to pull the rack out again. Like the third time I've had to out of this thing today. Alright, so now that we're free, we're going to start looking into how we're going to do all this. So I'm going to fill, see here, but there's a little valley here, so I'll fill all that with weld, and we'll do the same thing here, and then I'll make it nice and strong and realistically, I think that's all I really need, because we got good coverage up here. We're good and solid. I don't think these things are going to go anywhere. I honestly don't think I need any more than that. I keep going back and forth on whether or not I need to put more structure into this, but those aren't going to move. No, we're good. I'm calling it. Calling it good. You can see we're all welded in. It's melted out a little bit there, so I'll have to grind out. So I'm going to take it over and clean it all up. There's some spots that I got to get some the weld out of so I can make sure we get a good fitment with the rack. So I'm going to take it over to the grinding bench and grind some stuff there and grind up some of the other stuff and make it look nice. And then I'll clean it up and probably hit it with some primer, and we'll go from there. But all right, so that's her now. Cleaned up those welds, cleaned up all that. I'm going to leave all these welds because it doesn't really matter. Damn. When the hell did that get hit so hard? Wow. What the fuck did happen to that? I must have, oh, I know. Is that the driver's side? That is the driver's side, yep. I nicked it when I was doing that. So I'm gonna fix that real quick so you won't notice it ever. But yeah, so it came out real nice. We got all our gusseting in there. Ties into where we, where our suspension ties into, so that'll make it nice and strong. These angles right here will do a good job of supporting the rack. So the rack, I don't feel any concern about it going anywhere anytime soon. Everything seems to be done for fab. The only thing we're gonna have to do next up here, and I won't have to do that until I figure out what exactly I'm doing for it, is the sway bar mount, because the sway bar will not work in these stock locations right here. So that may be a whole deal where I could actually probably, what I'll end up doing is making a spacer plate and just spacing it down some, and then I can still use a stock one. I didn't even think about that, because so far everything stays, it's been staying in the stock location, so it's been moving it. So if I just move it down some and get longer sway bar lengths, that'll work. So yeah, that's probably what I'll end up doing, is just making spacer brackets for the sway bar, but that'll be a different, that's gonna be down the road. We're not too concerned about that just yet, but pretty stoked with the way this came out. It'll do a good job of protecting the motor and keeping us strong, and basically it's the last big step. So I gotta take it to work tomorrow because I don't have any files here. So I need to file down the weld right in here because the clamps won't fit right. It's hitting them. But so once I file that down, we'll be done and I can paint it. So like I said, I'm gonna take it to work tomorrow and then see if I can actually get them to prime it for me. That'd be awesome, but we'll see. so we did a lot of work with the mounts for the Subaru and everything. I did a lot of that off camera. It was a lot of painting and making a giant mess and some welding. And well, I think I got the welding, but it was a bunch. So, oh God, I bummed myself every time with that. All right, so I didn't paint the cross member back here, but I definitely primed it, so we won't have any issues with that. And you can see we got a lot of not much clearance right there, which is a little concerning to me. Now that I'm looking at it, wondering if this thing's even centered in the freaking car, or is it, no, it looks like the freaking tunnel's off to one side, which it is. All right, optical illusion, but I'll have to fix that at some point. But anyhow, I got the cross member all done, finally bolted it all the way down. Those ones are a real pain to tighten down because of how tight the clearances are right there, but it is what it is. At least now I can push it outside and I won't have to worry about any of this rusting. And then the piece de resistance is the cross member here, which you see I painted and then of course scuffed it up in like 6 places, but it is what it is. It's gonna happen. So it's all mounted in. It's got the rack all mounted up. Everything is clearanced. I was able to get this hose clamp back, or not hose clamp, this hydraulic hose bent back into where it needed to be and clearance good. Same with this one. Still have to do that one that goes to the feed line up to the power steering pump we're gonna use, but I haven't, I don't even know where any of that's gonna go yet, so I'll have to figure that out and then we'll play with that one. I did end up ruining the old one, drain that you, ruining the old drain one that was here. It pinched it. And then this is the other side of it that went to the return. So what I did was I just cut it down and flared it, and then I had to bend it some more, which is why I got this deal here. But the flare is just so when I clamp a hose onto it, it doesn't come off. So that works out good. I don't have any too crazy bends going on with all of the different lines I got going on here. The only thing I'm not 100% in love with is how this one sticks out right here. But it's too long for this spot and I don't have anywhere else to put it, so that's how it's gonna be for now. But the mount came out real nice. Everything bolts up nice how it's supposed to. Like I said earlier, the only thing I haven't figured out really is the sway bar, but I think what I'm gonna end up doing is building drop-down mounts right here. Basically that space it down and forward kinda. I'll build a mount that bolts in here and then it kinda spaces it down and forward. And then I'll make my adjustments in the tie rod, not the tie rod lengths, I'll just make longer sway bar lengths and that should address that problem. So yeah, that's where we are. We're gonna put the wheels back on it and then we'll roll it around. So we got a bunch of other projects coming in. It's gonna be summer when, you know, everyone wants to work on their stuff. And I haven't really shown you guys, but there have been cars piling up outside. And this one's kind of been taking up the space. So as the weather gets nice, everyone's gonna wanna start coming out and playing again. Like Joe, who's got a pile of parts here. Oh man. And I know John's got a pile of parts for his Bronco. And we got a bunch of stuff going on. So I had to get this thing in a situation where I can actually move it outside and leave it outside. And I didn't want to leave any of that bare metal stuff out, because the last thing I wanted to do was fabricate all this stuff up and then not be, and then have to grind it, spend hours grinding it down and getting it clean to paint it again. So, like I said, I'm pretty stoked with how it came out. I think it looks pretty good. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know. I mean, I could have bought the tubular kit that came with new lower control arms and did all of this, but it was a $2,000 kit. And realistically, with the tube bender, the steel that I've used, and basically, well, not counting my time, I'm in it $2,000 and I have a tube bender. So, I mean, I just think this was the better way to go. And in the end, I think it looks pretty damn good. I'm really stoked with how it all came out. And, you know, that's all that matters to me. I mean, how do I feel about it? And will it work? Will it work and how's it look to me? Realistically, this thing's not going out to win shows or anything like that. Most people will never see what went on in there to make that. So it is what it is in the end. And like I said, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. I appreciate you guys, you know, keeping up with this project and all that good stuff. And we'll check you out on the next one.